Charter Local Edition with your host, Dana Cowley.
Welcome to Charter Local Edition from the Capitol Building in Helena. Today my guest is Senator Cynthia Wolken. She represents District 48 in Missoula. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate your time.
Yes.
Now tell us a little bit about your district and the people who elected you.
Sure. So I represent Western Missoula City and County. So I have a really good mix of some of the downtown areas of Missoula and some of the rural parts south of Highway 90 and down back through. So it's a nice little slice of Western Missoula City and County.
And then you have a background in law. You have a law degree. You've done some criminal justice. You've done some family law. And you're working on some bills here that would have an impact in those arenas.
Yes, they would. I actually had the pleasure of serving on the Finance Committee last session too, on the subcommittee that oversees our public safety agency budgets, like the Attorney General, the Judiciary, the Department of Corrections, and we really became concerned about some of the growing costs of the justice system, and it's all funded out of the general fund, which is just taxpayer money, and so we really wanted to take a look at how we can be more efficient, improve public safety, and really start to bring those costs down and figure out why we're spending so much money on our system.
And so as you've looked at it, you're moving some bills forward and you believe if they get through, they could save a few taxpayer dollars.
Yes, we do. And it's a process called justice reinvestment. It's been very successful in other states. We analyzed over the past 18 months since the last legislative session, we analyzed all of our data about who's in our prisons and jails, why they're there, and came up with about 12 bills to move forward. And the primary issues that emerged were the rising cost of jails and prisons, and then the recidivism rate. So people who are on probation keep returning to prison over and over, possibly not for a new crime. In a lot of cases, it's just for a technical violation or something else that maybe we could address in a jail rather than sending somebody to prison for years. And the third thing is to address the growing impact of substance abuse. So opiate addiction, meth addiction. What we're doing now is sending someone to prison, which is $40,000 a year at a minimum, and pretty much the most expensive thing you can do with somebody, especially if they actually just need treatment or help so they stop going further in the criminal justice system. So these bills are designed to address that, keep us safer, cut down on crime, and to save money to taxpayers.
So in a budget tight year, that certainly catches people's ear. In a year when the legislature is flush, saving dollars,
Right.
Is a little less of a priority. But this year, I think that could be quite well received.
I think so too. And these, again, this has sort of been done in other states. We wouldn't be recreating the wheel. And Idaho recently did justice reinvestment, and their Department of Corrections, I think, maybe for the first time, actually returned money to the general fund.
Oh.
And to see sort of results like that are really kind of inspiring. If we could have the same outcome in Montana, that'd be great. We're in the opposite position now, where the corrections budget goes over by this year. It was about $3 million, and so to be having them within their budget and then possibly returning money out of it would just be a great thing.
Now, you've had the experience with the budget, with the finance, with the legal aspects. The governor has given his state of the state, talking about some possible tax increases. What's your opinion about that? How can we end up with the balanced budget we need to at the end of the day?
Yeah, I think, well, it's still pretty early in the process, but I think, we are going to have some difficult decisions. There's only two ways to get to the balanced budget. You either bring more revenue in or you cut something, and we don't want to cut the wrong thing. There are vital services that people depend on, the elderly, the sick, the really critical programs. But there are also things that, maybe are not the needs. Maybe there's some more of the wants that we're going to have to cut back on this session. And I haven't, some of the tax increases I think are starting in the House. I haven't seen all the details, but I think it's something that we should all look at and see, for infrastructure, for example, or the gas tax. There's lots of ideas floating around, but everyone's going to have to come together because, we have to agree on it, and then the governor has to agree for us to leave. And so I'm confident we're going to get to a balanced budget.
And then do you feel you'll be going into a special session or running over?
I think it's kind of too early to tell on that. I mean, I think if we can get where we need to go, it just depends how far if the cuts go so far that they leave Montanans either, cutting jobs, leaving seniors stranded, disabled children, that situation we can't have. So if it's a responsible, lean budget, I think so. But if we just come to loggerheads, then we might need to have a special session, and then of course we might need to anyway because of what's happening federally. We don't know. There's a lot of unknowns about the Affordable Care Act and all of the things that we take direction from the federal government on anyway. So we might need to come back and deal with some of those things as well.
Oh yes, I mean, where you're really kind of ahead of the curve now, where that is, it's almost as if you have to have some open-ended stopgap things that can be modified once you get some final decisions coming out of the federal government.
Right.
And then have to adapt on the state level, I'd imagine.
Yes.
So that's a unique and difficult challenge all in itself right there, to not be able to do something concrete.
Yes, it is. It is a challenge of the legislature. The citizens decided in the Constitution that we would only meet 90 days every 2 years, and I think they like it like that, but we have to adapt because of course policies and things are moving more than the 90 days, so we have to keep that in mind as we make policy here.
Well, I wish you the very best of luck with all your efforts. I hope this is a good session for you, and especially want to thank you for your time, to take time from what you're doing to come here and talk with us and share with your constituents the things you're doing for them. So it's a pleasure.
Thank you.
We appreciate it, and we appreciate you watching. This is Charter Local Edition in Helena, and my guest is Senator Cynthia Wolken.
Charter Local Edition has been an exclusive presentation of Charter Communications. View all episodes at localeditiononline.com.